I love that intro. Oh my God. Well, you've done it. You've done it, folks. You stayed retarded longer than the market could stay bearish. And now we're all going to be rich. In the wise words of Alex Becker, we are on to a new frontier. Bitcoin trying to break up to $100,000. We're going to look at some key levels for Bitcoin to watch over the weekend in terms of trading. I already went over the long-term plan yesterday. Lots of news to cover. Also, we're going to be starting a fund at the, you know what? When we get 100 likes, I'm going to show you the most unhinged comparison I have ever found for this young man. And, you know, those that know, but those that don't know are going to find out after we hit 100 likes on the show live today. So make sure we do that because I'm excited about revealing such a thing. Isaac, how are you feeling today?
I'm in danger.
A little bit.
Because apparently there's a shirt and a comparison that's about to be dropped upon me and everybody else here once we hit 100 likes. But other than that, you know, I'm here. I'm chilling. So yeah. How about you? How you doing?
You know, I'm feeling good when I got this shirt on. And I'm busted this shirt out. I think I'm going to wear this shirt or something like this to DZ's wedding because it's not like fancy pants clothes that I need to wear, lighter colors. Excited to see DZ get married too.
Me too.
You know, I'm excited to see him do it. Now, if you don't already, make sure to follow me on X at Druth Crypto here. We did have some breaking news right before we went live. I don't have any overall rundown here, but Cynthia Loomis has come out talking about the Strategic Reserve and the Bitcoin Act. Let's have a listen. This just broke right before we went live.
I'm particularly pleased with President Trump's support of my Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Initiative, which will address our national debt while securing America's position as the global leader in financial innovation. As Bitcoin comes into more usage, its use makes the whole system more secure, more robust, and more capable of serving our needs all over the world. We should be the global leader with this fantastic new ledger-based asset that is in a digital format that is going to be transformative of everyday economy and puts the everyday American, in fact, the everyday worker all over the world in control of their own money.
I love how our chat goes immediately to GILF. You know, we're like watching a legislator talk about like a Bitcoin reserve. I got total GILF.
I'm so going to poon that thing.
Oh my God. I love you guys. Now, I also see someone saying this is a schmedium, like a small medium. This is an extra large shirt. This is an extra large shirt. And you know what? I kind of need double XL now, don't I?
I think so. Drew looking like my spring break Coke dealer.
Oh, that's true. That is true. And I got the Jersey Shore haircut going on with the, what is this? Look at that. Look at the flow. They're getting me hooked up in there. Also, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are at 70, what is this? I think it's 77.8. Isn't it? Yeah, 77.8. Got a couple hundred more. Make sure you are subscribed, join as a member, and get all the perks that come with that. You get the OG chat where you get to hang out with me and Isaac most mornings. I did have to do the Discover Crypto show this morning.
Indeed.
You know, and I was gonna hammer the whole shitcoin thing, but you know, you have to be nuanced on it because vast majority of altcoins out of the 36 million are shitcoins, right?
Indeed.
When you're messing around in altcoins, it's the Thunderdome. So Bitcoin maxis, they're going to be right long-term in aggregate for most things. There's going to be a few altcoins that rise to the top over the course of the next few cycles here, but the vast majority of them are going to zero. So just know that, you know, when you're thinking about marrying a certain altcoin for a long time frame, you have to be very, very cognizant of that. You need some custom tailored shirts. Dude, I mean, I don't know, like XLs, but usually the XLs, they're too big on the waist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do like these types of shirts. You know, I got it's better. I don't have to really hide anything because the flow of the shirt just goes over everything. It's really nice. Now let's take a look at the altcoin market, crypto market here. Bitcoin sitting here 97.7, bouncing back, trying to hit that 98 spot we tapped a little bit close to this morning while we're on the live Discover Crypto stream. Ethereum still edging us at $1,850. XRP 223. BNB magnetized to that $600 level, and Solana also magnetized right now. You know, I don't think it's our season yet for altcoins. Talked about when that is likely to be. I'm feeling June. I'm feeling those rate cuts come June. We go to the moon. That's what I feel like. My wife tagged that line. She made that up. So I can't even take credit. But we thought it was last year. It's actually this year. She's ahead of the game. But on aggregate, I am seeing a nice little pullback on SWE. On the week, it's down about 5%. Let's go to the month. A little shelf being built up here for SWE. Not hating it, honestly. If I were a greedy entry point guy, which I am, I'm looking for the top end of this channel at about $2.80 for a nice juicy little entry point there. Whereas Bitcoin looking like right now, this is the overall squiggles that I did yesterday. I'm still feeling pretty damn solid about this. Q1 2026 looks like a great target for me. There will be chop along the way. And really in the short term, in terms of trading over the weekend, we are entering something very interesting here. This point of control for both the fixed volume range of the previous channel that we were in from 90K up to 109K sat at 96.3. The current range that we just are trying to break out of, essentially, the top end of it, is at 96.4, 96.5 as well. So we have a couple points of stops. Oh, snap. Thanks, Uncle Tommy, for joining as a member. What a guy.
Bullish.
Come hang out. I also got to I got to set up my glasses so that I can do my boxing with that point of view. You know what I mean? While I'm still in the OG chat. Now, these are our stops here that I'm looking at. We are going to have some incredibly bullish news about China following through with trade negotiations. There are whispers that they're hearing out the aggravation of the United States in terms of the amount of fentanyl that's been coming into the country. And there might be some concessions made from China to open up trade talks over the weekend. This is something that we need to watch very, very closely, because if we don't get any sort of bullish news over the weekend, any sort of major catalyst, I am of the expectation we come back down to tap this 96 spot here. There's a couple reasons why. Obviously, the point of control from this previous range showing kind of like a glass ceiling like Hillary Clinton had when she tried to become president all that time ago. But also liquidity. And you know what? I know Diddy's doing great in prison. He's probably getting some, probably taking some too. Let's see here. We got 95.7 is hundreds of millions of dollars just about stacked up in long liquidations that can happen in a snap crash over the weekend. So, you know, I'm having to acknowledge that, man, we are breaking up and beyond this little shelf that we got stuck on here. And as you guys know, we have the CME gap here at 92. So I'm staying cautious about that in the trades, keeping stops on. But you know what? I'm feeling damn good about the markets. I'm going to be watching any trade negotiation deals happen. And I'm also just going to keep an eye on my general trading process, where I'm looking for that 15-minute green dot on the momentum wave. And then if I do see that, you know, because right now we're at the upper echelon of momentum. You know, we're on the top end here. If I see the momentum wave come back down, like as we saw here, and give me a trigger wave, as you see a trigger wave signified right there, that's where I'm going to be feeling good about things. But in aggregate, it does look pretty damn bullish moving into the weekend. So with all that covered now, let's get into all of the stories. How many likes are we coming? How many are we at?
Let's see. We
I really want to show
currently
this.
at 65 likes with 273 people watching.
Making it happen.
So
let's
make
keep
it
it
happen,
going, folks.
100 likes.
100
now. Let's
I
do
need
it.
them. Never needed 100 likes more in my life. Now, VanEck CEO, Bitcoin could hit $3 million per coin and become 5% of global trade soon. Central banks talking about wanting Bitcoin and countries using Bitcoin as an intermediary currency. The thing that strikes me about this conversation, first before we listen to it, is VanEck. Obviously, they're bullish on Bitcoin, but they are a major, major asset manager. So let's have a listen to what they're seeing for Bitcoin's future.
We think there's a good chance that central banks and sovereign wealth funds will start to get more aggressive in adopting Bitcoin, not only as a store of value, but also as a medium of exchange. So this year, the Czech Republic, the governor of the central bank there, has initiated a study to analyze Bitcoin for inclusion in their central bank reserves. And then just this week, Russia did a trade with China, partially denominated in Bitcoin. beginning to really use Bitcoin for the first time as a medium of exchange. And that's not for individuals buying coffee. That's for large scale transactions where countries are using Bitcoin as an intermediary currency to do, say, an oil trade. And in that scenario where Bitcoin denominated trade could be, say, 5% of global trade, we get to a $3 million price per Bitcoin. That's a long-term prediction, like 2050. But that's going to be necessary, we think, to elevate Bitcoin into the millions.
Some striking things to hear there. So the tests country to country transaction done in Bitcoin. Clearly, they don't care about the little transaction fee. It makes sense, the start of this, to happen on the most secure network, the OG groundwork of crypto in general. But intermediary exchange between nations for large scale oil purchases starting to happen with Bitcoin. This isn't, Galapagos Island to, Ethiopia or something for like $50 in turtle food. This is a big purchase. Very, very interesting to see this. I see my chat going off on the lady in the middle there. You guys are just unbeatable on the internet. Now, Bitcoin price targets for 2025 range from 122K to 700K, and this is all over the place. I saw Crypto Steve-O's highlighting Eric Crown's target for like 130K. 130K is on my lower echelon of expectations. I'm more so looking at 160. I know TJ is also looking, if we get that game theory with nation states actually moving forward. We did have the news today that North Carolina passed their Bitcoin reserve.
Yeah.
So these things are happening at a state level. And also, it is looking like the bill for, what was it? God, let's go to it was Arizona, right? We have this note here. I want to go to this. This is a guy, I actually was on a space with this legislator, and I just tagged a post where he's highlighting that the Arizona House Bill 2749 is Bitcoin and Digital Assets Reserve Fund, focus on airdrops and staking, has officially been sent to the governor. The SB 1373 has language in the Arizona House added to it. So before it goes to the governor, the Senate has to concur first. So a little bit of a hold up. Wait a minute, something ain't right. They changed a little bit of the conversation up for the SB 1373. This one, the 2749, is more about like staking and airdrops. This is making it to the governor's desk today. So now we're in that phase where we're going to see if Katie Hobbs is going to ride party lines hardcore and not allow any sort of crypto integrations to be happening in the state of Arizona because the Democrats said so. That'd be unfortunate if that is the case. What you got, Isaac?
Guess what we just did?
What?
100 likes.
All right.
We're at 105 likes right now. So yeah, that was quick.
So Isaac's been working on his hair. He's been coming at it with a little interesting.
Look at the mullet shake.
You've been getting interested with your hairdo. Okay, so let's take a look at maybe a week or two back.
Yeah, week or two back.
You had kind of like these little swoops starting up, and honestly, when this, you can't really see it here. It's not a perfect angle.
My head's fucking it.
This is you got a little bit of like anime devil horns going on here.
Okay? I don't hate that.
So I saw this thing, and something jogged my memory. In Quince Ocha, right?
Oh my God.
In Quince Ocha. This may be the shirt that really sets you off, like peak existence level, when walking around downtown Atlanta. One of these shirts, Isaac.
Yo.
I could see it now.
You know what? Fuck it. If we hit 200 likes, I'll buy it live on stream.
Yeah, I think Isaac's gonna be basically required to wear this shirt to some degree.
200 likes, I'll buy it live.
Just bringing it back. And you know what? This is gonna be incredible. It's gonna be incredible. Not only are we in for a incredible market, I think Isaac and the youth are in for an incredible mindset shift when it comes to cultural norms, and I'm here for it.
Yep.
Now AA could be Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. This is Ace Ventura, Pet Detective 2, When Nature Calls, just for the uncultured swine in the room.
That would be me, guys. If you didn't already know,
yeah, absolutely. So now let's go over here to Bitcoin. Okay, I just had a side note there.
Thanks.
So this is Giovanni talking about where Bitcoin is rooted and what makes it so different than most other assets that we see, honestly. Let's have a listen to this.
Bitcoin, unlike other financial assets, it is grounded in physics. I mean, gold is real. You have to dig it out of the ground. But other than that, and, other than commodities, Bitcoin is grounded in reality, in the physics of the energy and the, mathematics, the cryptography, the hashing. So it's grounded in lots of energy and lots of compute power. The world's largest decentralized supercomputer is in process every moment, hashing at 800 exahashes per second continuously.
So that's grounded in physics, right? And then we think about like the cost of energy. We've looked at the average cost of energy, a little bit ago, but Robert Breedlove expanded on this with a great post I want to go over right now. Breedlove, one of the great giga chads out there stacking Bitcoin, don't normally speculate on short-term Bitcoin price action. Some friends of his had provided some fascinating perspectives he wanted to share. Bitcoin's up 25% from April 9th in the low, and there's a handful of indicators that show a major bull market is around the corner in terms of the miner cost. Starting with the average miner cost of production. In a rational economy, assets rarely trade below their cost of production. Now, what it costs to mine a Bitcoin is different for every miner. And that's what we looked at earlier in the week with Russia's 50K. I think Ethiopia was like 2K. America is 100 some odd K.
Yeah.
This all relies on like the machine type, the electricity cost, the uptime, all playing a role in this. But Blockware team aggregated the data to create a metric called the industry average. And the metric has timed out each of the past 6 Bitcoin bottoms: September 2024, November 22, September 2020, March 2020, December 2018, and April 2016. It is signaling a bottom right now. So every time this average cost in green matches up with the price of Bitcoin, that has tended to mark the bottom for this asset class. And where we are right now, they are indeed touching tips. And it's the time to back up the truck. It is what it is, man. I don't make the rules. It's grounded in the cost of electricity, the cost to mine it. And now we have nation state adoption. I mean, Bitcoin is here to stay. We know this. All of these altcoin roads lead to Bitcoin. And in altcoins, if you are a psychopath like myself that's playing with altcoins to gain more Satoshis, for the love of God, take profits when you see that start to outpace Bitcoin. Okay. If you're, let's say, a Solana maxi and you hold a lot of Solana, have a view of the Solana to Bitcoin chart on a weekly basis. Just go look at it every single week to check in to see if you are still getting a beat down in comparison to Bitcoin, or if your gain in Satoshis is starting to increase. And I'll show that when we get further into the altcoin section here for sure. Now, when we talk about the race to the top, Jack Mallers, 21 Capital, will plan to replicate Michael Saylor's strategy to accumulate massive amounts of Bitcoin. Very, very interesting. We did cover this, and some good highlights British Hodl had this morning is that it's not just Saylor. He's also in there with Larry Fink and BlackRock, like some pretty powerful players. On Mahler's side, he's got Howard Lutnick. I think it's Canary that is the overseeing company of Cantor Fitzgerald. And you have the likes of Tether in the mix as well. So you have some very, very powerful bags of cash that are looking to replicate what Michael Saylor has been able to do with the Bitcoin accumulation and kind of leveraging the options that are available on this, synthesized derivatives representative market that the economy sits on right now. Saylor has found a money glitch within that. In an aggregate, he's buying as much Bitcoin now because the loans that, are being built up aren't due for 10 years. So if we do see this thing continue to exist and really start to expand, Saylor is going to be in ownership or leadership of one of the most powerful organizations on the planet in terms of monetary value. So that is something I am watching pretty closely. He is explaining some of his yield MicroStrategy announces the Bitcoin yield of 13.7% and a Bitcoin dollar gain of $5.8 billion year to date, doubling the capital plan to 42 billion equity and 42 billion in fixed income to purchase the Bitcoin, accounting for $84 billion total. He's hammering in to buy more Bitcoin and increase the yield target from 15% to 25%, and the gain in dollars target from 10 billion to 15 billion within just this year, making major moves. And probably, in my opinion, a lot of people are like, oh no, this is just doing business as usual. I think he sees Jack Mahler and Howard Lutnick and their intelligence and their buying power in competition with him and Larry Fink on the strategy side. And he's striking first because he's already got the infrastructure built to do so. And the only way that he loses is that if he stops this strategy and they outpace him, he's not going to stop. This guy literally is not going to stop until the day he dies. Charles Schwab also coming out bullish on, we're working on a plan to launch spot crypto available through Charles Schwab within the next 12 months. Kind of insane, so it'd be nice if Charles Schwab releases spot access when we finally see a pullback of some sort, right?
Yeah.
In like May of 2026. But honestly, bro, there is the possibility that we see like the state reserves happen. And then 2026, the treasury's like, all right, we're ready to buy 200,000 Bitcoin, guys. Hey. And I don't even know what that does to price. Like, that's where Max Payne is up only for the people that are punching up, that are trying to gain Satoshis, that are trying to buy homes, that are trying to expand their wealth. That is where it's super important to be paying attention right now. And, over the cycles past, but I know my heart goes out to the people that are going to be learning about Bitcoin at the next local top, buying that top. It'll fall back down by 20%. They'll freak out, and then they'll sell, and then the cycle just rinses and repeats. It's just unhinged. So now this is a highlight strategy. Potentially could have a stronger balance sheet with this movement than Apple within a short 18 months from now. Strategy is currently number 13 when it comes to biggest corporate treasuries at $52 billion. Apple sitting at $131 billion. Microsoft, another behemoth at 132, Google at 148, Amazon, and then Berkshire Hathaway. Mr. Warren Buffett himself at the top of the heap right there. Buffett is just a savage, dude. Just an absolute savage. We are reading pretty hot on the greed zone right now. Hence, I'm being a little bit careful. Let's check where it is currently. It's head on over to CoinMarketCap. Share this tab instead. It's come back down. So 55%, about median right there. It's a nice place. I like being in the median there. Not too overheated, not too scary. Now, the Dixie is extending losses. It's dropping more than 1% versus the yen to 143 yen. Let's go hop on over to the DXY and take a look. Here's the big scary crash, the Great Depression on the S&P 500. Everyone's complaining about. Oh my God. I need to show this real quick before we move on from this chart. Here's the 1 month. What a gargantuan collapse. Honestly, this is a buying opportunity of a century. Or not of a century, but honestly, of the last few years. Last time we had a candle like that was March of 2020. So there is that. There's a reason why I know that they're going to keep cooking this thing up into the right. Let's go check out the DXY. I got to get these halvings off of this. Doesn't matter for the Dixie. Now, honestly, kind of looks like it's going to bounce right here. It kind of looks like it's going to bounce. We got some old school volume that's happened at this level. Trade negotiations will probably move forward. Look out for that. It is showing a little bit of that monthly green candle. Let's zoom in just a touch on this. Yeah, we got a couple weeks of green action, a little scam wick to the bottom, showing a potential bottoming out, and the momentum wave down in the oversold territory around 61. Probably going to print a greenie. This little internal VWAP probably going to clip that trigger wave. So just watch out for that. Now, I already covered this. I cover a lot of stuff.
You do.
I'm proud of this. Like we only had to, we covered like 5 main stories, or maybe like 2 on the Discover show. Ooh, thunder. Speaking of thunder, Tulsi Gabbard confirms biological weapon labs in the Ukraine were funded by the United States. Let's have a listen to this. This is juicy. Absolutely juicy.
Is not just what happened in the past. It's because this gain of function research is happening in biolabs around the world. I got attacked, and I think you saw this. We've probably talked about it in your show before, when I warned against US-funded biolabs in Ukraine when the Russia-Ukraine war kicked off for this very reason. Who knows what kinds of pathogens are in these labs, and if released, could create another COVID-like pandemic. And for that, I was called a Russian asset. You're, trumpeting Putin's talking points, all of this nonsense, simply for speaking the truth and stating facts that, by the way, are still on U.S. Embassy Ukraine's website today about how the U.S. has funded these biolabs in Ukraine. But my point is, in order to prevent another COVID-like pandemic or another major health incident that could affect us in the world, we have to end this gain of function research and provide the evidence that shows exactly why and how it's in our best interest, the American people's best interest, to bring about an end to it.
Man,
Jeez.
The leader of intelligence in the United States verifying this. What a time to be alive. Feels validating too, because when I brought this up quite some time ago, I was like, "You're stupid, Drew. Shut up. No one wants to hear about that. Look, it's real." Let's delete these other tabs so my computer keeps working and doesn't start on fire. Let's see here. Okay, so Texas, this is the bill, HB 366, aimed to jail people for political memes. They're having a heated discussion inside legislation in Texas. Let's have a listen to this.
But if someone makes your forehead, members, please don't talk over each other.
Let him finish his comment about my forehead, please.
No, I'm saying if I don't want anybody to make fun of my appearance either. You've got a nicer head of hair than I've got. But if someone makes your forehead larger than it should be, I don't think that they should be subject to jail time for that. This is an overreach. Nobody likes bad political advertisement. You don't, and I don't, and I get that. But that's part of what we have to live with. And when people overreach and they say that we've sold land to the Chinese Communist Party, they say we're affiliated with neo-Nazis and ridiculous comments like that, then that is what then we answer for it, and truth covers truth, and we move on.
This won't stop lies. People will lie about me. They're going to lie about you. They're going to lie about anybody who runs for office, whether it's local, state, federal. There always will be lies. The problem is we're getting to a point in time, again, this is the fifth bill we've heard on the House floor dealing with AI and new technology. We have to get ahead of it. We're always playing catch up to technology. When I first got elected, it was just the World Wide Web. It was Facebook. Now this is AI, right? On Monday, Senator Ted Cruz passed the Take It Down Act, 409-2. The federal government
That's
is
a different bill. Let's keep it about your bill.
It's still about AI, though. It's still about AI infiltrating our lives on a daily basis.
We're talking about political memes, and I appreciate it. And I don't like lies in political advertising as well, but this bill goes too far, and I'll vote against it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
The technology is passing out. It's going so fast. We just need to ban memes because AI is going to make memes, and then things get really scary. Right?
Soy boys.
Oh, Texas. I want to believe Texas is the Texas that Texas says it is.
Not right now, clearly. They're fighting over forehead memes.
Oh, my God. You know, it's a law that you have to have a gun here in Kennesaw in your house.
Is it really?
It's like an old school law.
Oh, yeah, it is old school law. Actually, I do remember reading about
Yeah.
that.
I'm still, like, on a political level, I'm in the camp of vet here. I mean, we haven't gotten the Epstein list for sure. Like, Pam Bondi is sitting there just not releasing it. Like, when the hell are we going to get the Epstein list? I don't care if it's everyone's favorite icon, Tom Hanks, or whoever the hell is on there. Who cares? Just tell us.
Give us the list. We want to know.
Yeah.
We need to know.
Also, other arrests that need to be done. The people that were living off of our taxpayer dollars and using U.S. aid to create a slush fund across the world. Arrests need to be done for a lesson. Let's have a listen to this.
It's a long-term enterprise.
It's a long-term enterprise because if we take our eye off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
They can Doge when Democrats get back in power.
We're trying to have it be such that the the funding is removed, so the grants are gone. So there's a lot of work required to restart the waste and fraud.
Do these people not respect taxpayer money?
I mean, there's no incentive to if you work in the government. I think the incentives will always decide the outcomes.
Yes.
And, you know, the way that the payment system is set up is if you ask for money, like, you're just going to get it.
Jesus, man. They just
Jeez. That was a bomb right there. I just dropped on everyone's head.
they'll just give it out. If you ask it, you're approved by USAID or whatever the hell deep state organization it is, you're getting the cash out of my pocket. When I pay the taxes, I get to just give the money. Okay. And the government says that taxes are voluntary. They are enforced with violence, right? It's written that it's a voluntary involvement with taxes. They literally enforce with violence and jail time if you don't pay it. And then they use the money to then go fund tranny frogs in Africa and bioweapon labs in the Ukraine. This is absolute. This is what do they call it? Treason.
Horseshit.
It's treason. No, it's treason is what it is. So absolutely incredible. And I hope that what Elon talking about, the US government was partying taxpayer money, but that the Doge organization is here to stay. It better be. I don't want to see this, election in 2028 go, and then they do away with the Department of Government Efficiency. We have probably just scratched the surface at the amount of waste in taxpayer dollars. Not to mention they lost $1.4 trillion. That was the entire income tax of last year. They literally just can't find. Still, the Treasury quit. The moment that Elon Musk went to him, he's like, hey, we need to open the books to the Treasury. The guy quit. He left. Oh, my God. Treason.
Horseshit.
All right. It gets better. The Doge, they also found a $130,000 contract to the Institute of Peace in D.C., which had a member of the Taliban, an entire armory of guns and private jets purchased with the funds. Oh, that's fun. But here in Georgia, former Democratic House candidate Carol Sprayberry, who publicly called for the assassination of President Trump in social media posts, has been arrested as part of a sweeping multi-agency child sex trafficking organization. Jesus.
Welcome to the government.
Okay, so now we're talking about the bullish things that we're watching over the weekend because I like printing Tether on Bitcoin and trades. So China is talking about assessing this possible trade talk with the United States. This is in congruence with addressing our concerns over the fentanyl that's been coming into the United States through the open borders. But not only do we have to tackle the open border, we have to tackle the originating source of the fentanyl's raw materials.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those come from China. So that's something we have to tackle as well. And China is now exempting tariffs on $40 billion worth of U.S. goods. This came out this morning as well. So they are finding concessions within them and some, generalized understanding of this growth in China's manufacturing output is visualized well here. This is the 1970s to 2011 timeframe. And I think U.S. would be a little bit ticked lower than where this left off at. But China has had a parabolic increase to the amount of goods that they manufacture. There is no doubt. The United States, not necessarily showing a huge bearish signal on manufacturing. We still put out a pretty good amount of product in the United States. But seeing this upswing, I think that America wants to catch up with China to some degree.
Yeah.
China's probably going to remain at the top helm of this, and we're probably going to work out a deal to keep receiving the products that they produce. But in aggregate, I can see the United States wanting to just take a little bit of that power back. Now, Carney, the blind trust for the new guy in Canada, Mark Carney, his blind trust investment company Brookfield announced yesterday it plans investing in U.S. manufacturing operations due to the Trump tariffs. Amazing how all of this announced just days after Carney becomes PM. All that grandstanding on never Trumpness not really lasted very long, is it? Maybe he said those things to get elected. Oh no. Now, might as well have been aliens. We've come to experiment on you, plunder your resources, and enslave you forever, says the aliens. Isaac at the bottom. Oh, wait, you're from the government?
Exactly. That is me. Live action.
What is this picture of Jakey? I found Jakey follows me, and I follow him. Decided to give me a follow. Interesting. Jakey's a funny Solana degen. I like his posts. I think, he's kind of cool. He's a total dork, but he's got a good aura about him here. So now for XRP maxis, U.S. Department of Treasury recognized Ripple's RLUSD is alongside the giants of USDC and USDT. The comments, amazing. Will that help the XRP price? Sure. Sure. The product that was originally designed to be a stable coin is one of the first altcoins in crypto's history. Now has its own subsidiary stable coin that's being implemented alongside the other ones. That's going to help XRP price. No, I do not think it will. Sure, it may add some liquidity. I was talking to my pops about it, though. The volume on XRP really has started to flatline. So that is something to keep an eye on. Volume being very sleepy on the XRP proper. It's a bunch of psycho hands that are just psycho handing the XRP tokens tethered to the moon. God. It's just hard because there's so much content made about XRP. It's an easy rabbit hole to fall into. Now, Jason Dismone, he's the guy behind the Arena, talking about the launch of the Arena DEX. This is a SocialFi platform that we do live stream to every now and again. So they're going to be rolling out their own decentralized exchange on the Arena. Might be kind of fun. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
We're on there. We're getting like gifted all these random meme coins and stuff. I'll go play on the DEX with them a little bit. Now, Ethereum. Millions of Ethereum has been withdrawn from exchanges over the past 3 months. This is in congruence with Bitcoin being withdrawn off exchanges as well. But here's the deal. Is now we're so tied into strategies, Wall Street play, and synthetic representation of Bitcoin or yield from Bitcoin holdings, then making its way down to a bunch of different mechanisms to offer yield to investors through other auxiliary entry points to strategies, Michael Saylor's strategy.
Yeah.
There is a concern in my mind that we are becoming so ingrained with these ETFs and with Wall Street play of the strategy approach that the scarcity aspect of Bitcoin comes into question in my mind. And this is where proof of reserves and that proof of bill that Sergey from Chainlink, he has been going back and forth to Washington for like 3 weeks now.
I think it's even longer than that, right? I feel like it's way longer than that now.
It's been a long time, but he's been advertising and admitting it for like the last few weeks. If we need the proof of reserve bill to go through. Not me personally for my bags, but just an assurance that the Bitcoin behind these funds that they claim to have is actually there.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is something that I really am hoping we see, because it's great that nation states want to FOMO in and all these other little mechanisms of strategy, and then the 21 play from Cantor Fitzgerald. It's all coming, and they're all going to be buying Bitcoin, but we got to prove it, right? Like the system, we don't need trust in Bitcoin because it should be on chain. But now we're finding this like weird hybrid marriage with Wall Street. And that is where my long-term concerns come, because the system has only psyoped the people that don't believe it my entire life. I had to go through 9/11 and then learn a little bit about mechanical engineering and melting points for steel beams. I had to go through the Vegas thing. I can't even say the last word. The YouTube will just nuke this channel. And I just have been lied to by the government basically my whole life. So I want to believe that there's going to be a proof of it better be done, because Bitcoin, we had a chance to recapture humanity's dignity through monetary backing. And now that we see these mechanisms coming in for derivatives and synthetic representation of Bitcoin, you're damn right they're going to take advantage of it. That's just my personal salty opinion on the matter.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, and I do hope I'm wrong. That's a good place to be, because then there is some good left on that side of the fence. Now, Morpho is coming out with Morpho Light, a minimal open source app with just the essential earn and borrow features. Simple by design, making it easy to deploy on chain. I am going to be moving into this with my Morpho this weekend, and Aerodrome. I'm going to be getting into that realm as well. All that amazing stuff that Veteran Crypto has been teaching everyone on DeFi, crypto, and airdrops. He's there in the chat. Make sure you're following that channel. They open up to create a passive avenue of income by lending and borrowing the markets there within. You want to know the truth about the Vegas? Look up me and Drew on the black side. Yeah, me and Vet went very deeply into the Vegas situation. I don't even think you know what I'm talking about, do you, Isaac?
I might, but I'm not gonna like take guesses right now.
The country concert.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. If you're not a black site member, if you want to go down that rabbit hole and actually go watch the body cam footage, look at all the evidence collected, look at all that stuff, man, go have a look. Now let's look at altcoins. Oh yeah, first starting point is when to fold them, right? So let's just use Avalanche as an example here, because I have a pretty concise Avalanche to Bitcoin plan already built out here. Go to the weekly. All right. So this is Avalanche versus Bitcoin. Not going well.
Not at all.
Right. Though Avalanche is holding at $20 and I bought it for 10, I'm double up. The value in Satoshis to Bitcoin leaves much to be desired. Okay. Now, when we do see Avalanche run against the value of Bitcoin and outpace the value of Bitcoin, thus is the time to get the hell out of altcoins, whatever it may be that's doing that giant green print, and put it into Bitcoin. Me personally, of course. And also, okay, so you roll it into Bitcoin, real estate, guns, vehicles. We all know this. But just as an example, the reason, something that came into my mind, we got $10 Bitcoin or at $10 Avalanche here. And I saw these green candles printing for a few weeks in a row. At the very pico top of this, it ended up being $55. I ended up YOLOing out of 90% of my AVAX bag at $52. But in general, the moment that I see just that escape pump for altcoins where it meets this generalized trend line of downward hellish action, because all roads in altcoin sector do indeed lead to Bitcoin. That is statistically what I see. Now, where we're at right now, great comment. I would not sell right now. And hopefully you've been, hearing me on the show when I say I am backing the truck up. It is because I've reached an extreme low valuation in the altcoin project, and I build the bag at those disgusting lows. I am buying when literally everyone is quiet and fearful and scared. I am buying. And so the bag is at $10 still for what remains. And I've even bought a little bit more at $15. We're sitting here flailing around at 20 some odd dollars. It's fine. But I am of the opinion that we will indeed see Avalanche run up to Bitcoin in terms of valuation to Bitcoin anywhere from 200 to 250%. More than likely, we're looking at June for this to start and play into the end of the year. So if this trend line holds true, you'd be ending up at about a 200% increase in AVAX to Satoshi model. So apply this same thought process to literally every single altcoin out there, and genuinely you're going to do.
You are banned!
What happened there? Hold on. What did I do? I didn't even see it. You delete the comments. I can't see what he did.
Exactly. You don't need to see. Just
okay. So there's the just know this, okay? When you do see those weekly, pull this back up. When you do see these weekly, do this on a weekly time frame, weekly green candles in AVAX or SOL or whatever it is to Bitcoin, you know that you're gaining Bitcoin when you're turning in the altcoins, okay? Never get married to altcoins, please, for the love of God. Because in bear markets, I am of this opinion, and we will have a bear market for altcoins once again. When it comes, it's going to be brutal as hell, just like the last ones have. Don't be caught holding the bag on the way down, okay? That's all. Now let's go look at altcoin sector in general. It does look like this plays into Chainlink. For the first time ever, Treasury Borrow Advisory Committee is discussing the stablecoins as a new payment mechanism and potentially a huge source of demand for the T-bills that they so generously need to get rid of to keep the fiat currency Ponzi going. They have to sell the T-bills to keep it going. Stablecoin issuer currently holds over $20 billion in T-bills, Tether. Rapid growth in stablecoins could lead to an incremental demand of $90 billion for T-bills. The size of the bill market today is $6.4 trillion, okay? So they're talking about a starting point of 900 bill. The stablecoins experience exponential growth. Demand for these USTs should be correlated likely at the expense of bank deposits. The stablecoins could grow to $2 trillion by 2030 in response to a continued market and regulatory breakthrough. Thus, T-bills finding, wait, we can offload our fiat Ponzi to the form of crypto in these representative assets, right? They're going to take advantage of that. Stablecoins could disrupt traditional banks by drawing away those deposits, which I do indeed believe they will. Now, this is where this comes into play. Is the proof of aspect that Chainlink is trying to do. They highlighted this. Once stablecoins held significant amounts of U.S. treasuries, they become too important for regulators to ignore. Sergey explains why every type of tokenized asset will gain regulatory clarity as they grow. I disagree with the saying every type. Okay. I will absolutely disagree with that. But I think there are a few that we're looking at right now on this chart in this day and age that are going to exist next cycle. And those are going to be ungodly gains if you're picking the right one. So let's have a look at this. Let's have a look.
So the thing that's happened with stablecoins is going to happen with every other tokenized asset type. Stablecoins only became interesting to the government and only became interesting to society at large once enough of the underlying asset, the U.S. Treasury, was in the stablecoin format. So once stablecoins passed 0.5% or 1% of total U.S. Treasuries, then everyone started running around and caring about them and worrying about what is this format or what is this holder of U.S. Treasuries. Firstly, that's going to happen with every other asset class and every other asset type. That once you get to 0.5%, 1%, 2%, 5%, depending on the asset class, everyone in that asset class will be like, whoa, what is this thing that is now eating up all of these underlying assets as it converts them into this tokenized form? So that's something you're going to see generally, and you're going to see more bills, more legislation, and more rulemaking from the regulators about those different asset types. But for stable coins, it's now reached a high enough level where it's become a key issue. So they need to make regulatory clarity happen. They need to make legislative clarifications on how it should be used properly, because it's basically big enough. From here, as it becomes bigger, it will only be even more important that you have regulatory clarity about how to use it, because the U.S. wants as many stablecoins as possible to be backed by the U.S. dollar and U.S. treasuries. So if you actually accelerate the issuance of stablecoins, as the U.S. government, you're accelerating distribution of the U.S. dollar, which is adding and contributing to U.S. dollar supremacy, U.S. dollar reserve currency status, which is basically their main goal around here, which from their point of view is a very logical, very correct goal. So the stablecoin dynamic now has gone from some cottage industry thing that no one understands to big and important enough that we want more of it, because it has an impact on U.S. dollar reserve currency status and U.S. dollar supremacy and U.S. dollar distribution, which is a very powerful, positive thing.
There you go. Very concise. And just, I will reiterate, it's not, we get caught up saying every sometimes. That's the one part that I didn't like about that whole conversation that he just laid out there. It's not every. Honestly, most of these things are going to fail. Okay. It's like what we saw in the .com bubble. And it's not that you can't make money on the speculation on previously failed versions of internet browsers, right? They made money during the .com bubble, but then they crashed. Right? So just think about that. I know Bitcoin's here to stay. I feel that way in my heart. I'm comfortable enough saying that in front of the people that I really care about, which is you watching the show. But when we do see these altcoins gaining that value in Satoshi, that's when we click the trigger. That's when we move it into Bitcoin. That's when we get the more real estate action going on there. So just stay based about this approach. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear about anyone in this chat marrying Shiba Inu into next cycle and having a wreckage to deal with. You know what I mean? Is AOL Ethereum? Potentially, right? Do you know AOL, Isaac? Were you around? We used to use discs to get on the internet. We used to use literal.
Oh, I knew
discs.
about those. Yeah.
It's not a thing anymore. You know what I mean?
Nope.
So that being said, let's go take a look at the aggregate market here. I do want to go to Coin 360. Let's check how things are looking right now. All right. And thanks for gigabanning those bots. Those ones, you don't time out. They are deported forever. forever in perpetuity. Okay.
Hey, it's Hannah, and you're deported.
Go. I had to
Like that.
Let's check out how the altcoin sector is doing here. Bitcoin showing a little bit of green action, pulling back 97.2. Might be coming down to those entry points that I want to look at over the weekend here. Chainlink just right under that $15 spot again. Fetch with a huge pullback from that pump yesterday. Render showing dark green, kind of interesting. Sui with a dark red. Again, I'm looking for $2.80 Sui. Cardano, Magnet, 70 cents. These things I don't expect to see gaining Satoshis versus Bitcoin until we see those rate cuts in June. Honestly, I covered it a bit on the show yesterday, but it looks like we're going to have 4 rate cuts in total as the CME sits right now for interest rates here in the United States. So I think that once the realization that they are going to cut interest rates when monetarily in responsible manner, they shouldn't be because inflation's still going up, then we're going to see something like a altcoin season we really have expected for some time, but have been really psyoped out. A lot of people gave up on the market.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a lot of people, I saw them, they gave up. They sold at lows. Now we're back. They were giving up at like $75,000 Bitcoin too.
Jeez.
When everything was like Morpho fell down to like 87 cents. I bought a good amount of Morpho. I feel very, very good about that play too. Let's go take a look at the portfolio and see how we're doing here, particularly on the things I've been focusing on. Let's go here. Yellow Cat, another 21% day. Ha ha! Yay. The arena too, 7% on the day, but down 11% in aggregate over the last 7 days. Morpho still ticking up, trying to hit that $1.50 mark. What up? And Plume still trying to hang out around that 20-cent level. Absolutely delicious. Let's have a look at Morpho. This is fun. This is fun. So I am so crazy. If that ends up being it and we don't go beyond this, they got to come up with some cool altcoin sniper name for me, you know? Some like what was that? Is like the guy that was in Stalingrad, I think it was.
Maybe
Enemy at the Gates.
Yeah.
You know, I have you seen Enemy at the Gates?
Just clips.
All right, let's go. We're gonna Enemy at the Gates.
Fucking swine.
I didn't go there because it's kind of a deep cut. You're the one that went there.
I did because I was expecting you to
Jude Law. Here he is.
Pull it up.
And Ed Harris. Ed Harris was the ultimate hardcore. I mean, he was incredible in this movie. Jude Law, great job. Rachel Weisz. But yeah, Enemy at the Gates. Let's go. I want to find the name of the sniper that was portrayed in here. Where is it? Writers. What is it about? I want to find the name of the is it a true story? Fictionalized about a true story of Vasily Zaitsev. That's the guy. That's the guy right there. There it is. DeFi, your veteran crypto knew all the time. Druth the Alt Whisperer. That's a good name. That's a good name. Yeah, you know what? Lost my first shirt to that dink from Safe Moon. Jail time coming. Safe Moon?
Nasty.
Safe Moon was never safe, nor did it go to the moon, right? Isaac, you're gonna have to get this shirt. How many likes did we get? Did we get 200 likes?
I do not think we had 200 likes. Let me go ahead and take a look over here. But apparently, Flatulence said he already bought the shirt.
Oh, he bought the shirt?
I don't know. That's what I've heard from him. 177 likes though.
Oh, we're so close.
we're cooking though.
Crypto Cody, he's on the edge. Tao definitely a winner in my top 8 or 9. Yeah, Tao is like, you know, you want to get exposure to AI because AI is going to be pretty exciting, I think. But there are so many AI projects out there. It's really hard to pick the right one. Tao is one of the ones I really think has shown signs that it is one of the right ones. Virtuals might end up lasting for a long time too, because a lot of those Solana AI agents are built on top of Solana and virtuals particularly. So sometimes it's easier when we see like the gold rush to be the guy selling the shovels and the buckets to the gold miners rather than going out there in the bush and trying to dig up your own little perfect nugget of AI agent on Solana yourself. Maybe just sell the the shovel and the bucket to all the miners and end up making that money anyways. That's kind of the play on the AI agent thing I think we could see from virtuals. But let's see here. One AI coin with a max supply of 21 million. Yeah, absolutely. I need to roll my Trump coin into something else. If they're going to make another coin, yes, that is a good, that old school Trump token. It is, let's see where that is at in terms of price, because Trump media is talking about rolling out their own token. Okay. And Trump media is much bigger than World Liberty Fi. Like it's in the $4+ billion valuation range. This token would likely have some pretty serious headwinds if they do pull that trigger and Trump media ends up going live with their own token. So good note on that. Thanks for the reminder there. Crypto Steve, I do love your portfolio. You do a good job. DeFi, the picks and the shovels. Yeah. I mean, to a degree, I mean, picks and shovels are like the systems that these speculations are being had. DeFi is more like, it's not the picks and shovels. It's the bank that's, provides the liquidity for the freaking pop-up shop to happen on. So I think DeFi is actually even bigger. I think DeFi is going to force banks to compete or they're going to go extinct. And after me and TJ have been saying that for a long time, like Aave potentially being the largest bank in the world in 10 years. We said that like 2 years ago or something. Now Eric Trump and all these people, they're like, yeah, banks have to compete or they're going to go out because people are going to go get yield. I even saw someone in the Discover Crypto chat that they're getting approached by their bank for a higher yield within their bank. So maybe some banks are starting to realize this, man, like, oh shit, we need to start keeping up here or people are going to end up leaving in droves here. So hold on. I got a lip dinner in me. I didn't get a workout this morning because I did the morning show. Maybe it's a good thing. I had breakfast too. I stopped fasting today. Yeah. I'm at the point where it's like, if I eat 3 meals a day, I gain like 5 pounds. So it's kind of aggravating. So let's look at here. The rest of the in general, Morpho, obviously it's been performing the best for me in the short term. I am not in aggregate worried about the portfolio because it's not overextended into like anything and everything in the top 200. So I feel a lot better about that because I think this altcoin season is going to be much more selective. Vet eats once a day. That's what I've been doing, and I felt great doing it. Yeah. You know what I did it for me though? The daughters. They wanted sausage biscuits. I have to do it. Stop effing with my metabolism. No workout all week. I play 8 hockey games this weekend. Ooh, that's a good workout. Now, you guys know this. Like, I'm not too worried about these things. The only one that's kind of irking me is Jupiter. Obviously, pie is like a joke. I hold a couple hundred, maybe $1,000 worth of pie, but it's, it's kind of like a giant scam that I can sell. And it'd be hilarious to actually make money off of it. So that's kind of like my thought process there. Moonwell, kind of a sneaky one though. A lot of people want me to cover this on Discover Crypto. Moonwell being one of the first movers to integrate crypto into being connected to a bank routing number. Yeah. And a bank account number. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So Moonwell is part of the portfolio. It's not nearly as big as Morpho or Aerodrome. Let's go look at, what was that one my wife bought yesterday? Proppy. Let's go look at that one. Oh, she's already in the green. Unbelievable. Strikes again. Oh, look at her. She bought the damn range. She bought the bottom of the health on the shelf. She's unbelievable. We should do airsoft, buying a big LMG this weekend. I definitely miss airsoft. I got a paintball gun when I moved out here. The best workout is putting actual like steel plates on and then going, you run around for 8 hours with steel plates in the heat. That'll do some good work. Now, Proppy is looking pretty good on this weekly chart. Let's go to the monthly. God, it is looking really good on the monthly too. It's got a lot of work to reclaim this. Now, my wife didn't really look at the tokenomics, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Where is this? Okay, so we got total supply and circulating are the same. Supply's out. Holy shit. Okay. Now, what we have here is real estate represented. Real estate's going to be a pretty sticky industry to get into if you don't have proof of assets. So That's something that's like, man, maybe I should get. I mean, she's got a little bit of it, so at least we have some exposure to it if it goes berserk.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, where they have to be more proven, I think is what we should be looking for. And this one's deep. This one's number 406. So we're messing around here. Drew, I'm telling you, Zabeck, you need to look into partners with Ondo MasterCard. A lot of big players. I wonder if Zabeck, is that like on here or something? Let's look. Zabeck Network. Is that ZBCN? Is this the one?
I don't know.
Let's see if it is. Zabeck Network. Let's see here. Dave Middleton got out of Proppy at $2. Man, what a move. What a move. What the hell is Zabeck?
It's go scam to me.
What is this? AI-based PayFi and DPIN. I'm not excited about DPIN right now, man. Like, Constellation is its data security that just has DPIN additionally. Don't lump Constellation into DPIN. I'm just not excited about DPIN. Like, I don't see the narrative. Maybe it goes, and I hope you do well on this thing, but like, DPIN, it's not exciting for me because we got RWAs and AI stuff. RWAs and AI is going to overshadow all this, not to mention Bitcoin, bro. Like anything that can compete with Bitcoin in these strategic reserves talk, it's AI and RWAs. That's just it. So, that's interesting. Matt just hit me up here. Let's see if he's Proppy is awake. Oh, he's messaging me about Proppy right now. And I reemphasize this. If you do see these altcoins running against the valuation of Bitcoin, protect yourself. Take profits, okay? I'm telling you guys, like, I don't want to have a bunch of sad stories about, we made it. We made it to 10K to 100K, but I didn't take profits. Please, for the love of God, just watch the Solana to Bitcoin chart, whatever it is that you're maxing on to Bitcoin chart, and know when you are outpacing Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, to outpace Bitcoin is incredibly difficult. And that's why I start the show with Bitcoin, is because for the average person, they're not heavily, they're not trading as a day trader like I am by any means. And they're not looking at all these different metrics of market cap, total supply, vesting schedules, all of this stuff. It is very, very, very involved to get in depth and an actual understanding of an altcoin. Bitcoin is so simple. So simple. Gigabrain, Cody. Right, like on a dissertation about what time? Fine. Oh, we're going to Gigabrain, maybe. Just because I like you a lot, Cody. Okay. And there's no guarantee that I'm not going to tell you this is a scam. Gigabrain by Virtual. I think this is the one he's talking about. ChatGPT created. Wow. Man, we're in it. Supply was a circulating supply and total supply. So it's almost out. That's fine. Let's go to the daily or 12 hours. Looks like it's been around for a while. It looks like it's actually more stable than most of these damn AI plays out here.
Unfortunate.
I mean, that is fortunate though.
It is fortunate, but it's also unfortunate at the same time.
Look at it. I mean, it's just this is market maker. You know what? This is market maker. This is a market maker keep hoisting action on it, is what that looks like to me. But that chart pattern very much so looks like a market maker to me. So there is that. All right. I love and appreciate every single one of you guys out there. Now, Gary Cardone is not a Scientologist. Is he really a Scientologist?
I can't tell you. I don't know.
Hold on. Hold up.
Oh,
wait a minute. Something ain't right. We got to go to Grok for this one. We got to go to Grok. He's not a Scientologist. Don't say that. Hold on. This is going to be crazy. All right. I'm going to show this. Oh my God, bro.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh my God. What is going on with the camera? This is insane. No, he's not. It looks like he literally is. Oh my God. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to have a talk. We're gonna have to have a talk, and it's probably not gonna be a very nice one, right?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you know, it is what it is. I can't believe he is a stylist, bro. What? All right, we're gonna end on that note. Woo!
Okay. We're back. We're back on live, by the way.
We're actually on
we're,
live
we're
still?
still on live. I don't know how. We just got rugged. But
Okay.
yeah.
But you know what? I probably overloaded StreamYard with based takes.
And Scientology.
Honestly, like it is what it is. Maybe the Scientologists got us. You know what I mean? I'm gonna
Probably.
get them back. Haven't they heard of the Crusades? You know, we win for a reason.
When everything was great.
Oh my God. Are we gonna have a Scientology debate on the
Maybe.
blockchain basement?
I don't know.
Oh,
Probably.
the Freemasons did it. All right. Well, yeah, like wow. There's so many things that I mean, I know they're wrong, you know. How do I bring him back to Earth though? Right?
I don't know.
Out of the little alien bubble overlord cloud, right? That's the thing. That's why he's like, everything is just so trippy these days, bro. Man, it's all the paint he's been huffing. All he talks about is painting his house. He's been huffing too much paint. All right. I love and appreciate all you guys. Let's head on over to Vet's show. Let's learn about some DeFi and enjoy the weekend. Touch grass. Love your loved ones. Take care of them. You know what I mean? Jesus is king. And I'll see you on Monday. Take care.